I probably should have put trigger warnings at the beginning of this video, but it's fine because I'll just put them in the description and in the title, or maybe I will record trigger warnings and edit them before. I don't know. Hi, I'm Alice. I am the token French girl, and welcome to my channel. Trigger warning. This video contains reference to emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, graphic description of physical abuse, and yeah, all that funny things. No, not funny, all those things. So if you are not safe watching that, please stop the video, don't watch it. I don't want to send you in a panic attack. This is not my point. Yes, that's this, yeah, that's, there it goes. I hope that you are all doing alright. I am surviving, I guess. So, I had a psychologist appointment the other day on the phone, and I am happy to announce that a second official stamp of madness has been added to my crazy passport. So the first one being bipolar disorder. Hi, I made you a video once on one day, about what it is to live with bipolar disorder and how it works and all that kind of stuff. How it doesn't work and doesn't, like, it really doesn't. No, yeah, that. Anyway, I have finally officially been told that I have PTSD, which PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder. There we go. From something that happened to me years ago, and I want to talk about it today because as you know, I mean, it's the same pretty much everywhere. We are isolated at the moment. And being stuck at home can also mean, for some people, being stuck in dangerous situations, being stuck with abusive people, people who do not have your best interest at heart. And I've been there, living with one of those persons. When I was 15, so that was 10 years ago, oh my god, I'm now the kind of person who can tell stories and say, it was 10 years ago. 10 years! 10 years. I feel so old right now, like, literally, I feel super old. So, when I was 15, I started dating that guy who was older than me. He was 18. I met him at... Okay, so there's this thing in France where I'm from. On the 21st of July, 21st of June, what am I saying? 21st of June. On the 21st of June, there is the music day. In French, we call that la fête de la musique. And it literally translates as the music party, but it's more like the music day. So it's like a holiday, but it's not really a holiday because people still go to work and all that kind of stuff. But on the evening, you have music everywhere in the streets and concerts and all that kind of stuff. It's like a big celebration of music, which I think is really cool. Like, this is a really cool thing. Anyway, so I met the guy here. He was a friend of a friend and playing with his band, and at some point they had me sing, and yeah, so I sung, and he was really impressed with me, and he asked me to join the band, and this is basically where I knew him from, which I should have guessed would be really unhealthy for me. I've always loved the stage and the spotlight, and I can also have kind of a big ego. I'm trying to work on it, but people telling me that I'm good, telling me that I'm talented, telling me that what I do is good, really, really, I mean, I'm craving that kind of feedback and attention. I always have. That may be a thing to brush with a psychologist, actually. Like, why do I want validation so much? Being recognized for something that I love doing, it was actually the first time for me that I had real recognition and that someone was actually seeing me for that. When I joined that band, it was the promise of some sort of opportunity for me to perform and do what I love most, which is performing. And this is still what I love most. I mean, not gonna lie about it, but when I was 15, well, I was 14 at that point, but when I was 14, I wouldn't admit to myself that this was what I wanted to do. Anyway, so this is where I knew the guy from, and he was really good at boosting my ego. And the problem with that is that when you build all your self-confidence on one person's opinion, then it's really easy for them to just tear you apart. And I'm not going to say this is what happened to me, because that would be spoiling, but you know exactly this is what happened to me. So we started dating with that guy about 10 months? Yeah, less, more. Almost 11 months after we met. So almost a year after we met. I started dating about almost a year after we met. So I was 15, he was 18. And that was the first time I was actually dating someone. It was really weird. Like, it was kind of secret because he was kind of like involved into destroying other people's lives. But you know, he made me part of that thing. Like, not part of it, like I wasn't involved in destroying those people's life, but he was telling me that he was. Like, I felt above it all because I was trusted. And so we started kind of like secretly dating. It was the first time I was actually dating someone. So it's the first time someone actually loved me. Like, I mean, romantically loved before, even though probably might have been people who loved me before, but I just didn't know it. And it was the first time I was actually having that much attention. And as you know, or maybe you know, I am an attention seeker. I am an attention seeker, so yeah, having attention is like kind of my kryptonite. I mean, it's kind of like, not really my kryptonite, but it's kind of like, it's great because it boosts me, but it also can destroy me so easily. Long story short, I got really involved, like emotionally involved into that. And turns out this person was actually not a good person. You know how they do that? They give a little and then they take back so much. To tell you what you're doing is good and then to tell you you're not good enough. They threaten to pull back their affection, they threaten to pull back their attention, they're ignoring you. So that kind of secrets, kind of, yes, there's a thing, no, there's not a thing, there's not a thing, but I'm still making out with you and kind of stuff. So that really, that started fucking my mind a little bit, that, oh my god, I'm never talking to you again because you did that little thing that I was really not happy with. Yeah, that was the first year of it. And then thing got ugly. The first time I was hit by this guy, we were having a party. People at that party just started to arrive and I didn't know them, but I just let it happen. I didn't know what to do, and the party quickly turned to a huge mess. And so that guy was blaming me because it was my house and I didn't do anything, even though I was at that point a 16 years old girl alone at home with all these adults around her, because all the people who were coming were fucking adults, and I was drunk, and I had no idea what was happening really, and I just don't know what I did or what I said that evening that literally triggered it. But this is when I was first hit by this guy. Sorry, memories. Oh shit, I'm not sure it was a good idea to go there, but there we are. So let's get going. It stopped talking to me because apparently it was my fault and everything, and then we didn't talk for a while, and then he came back to me, and like we kept our distance for a while, and at that point I started dating someone else, and it was great, and we had a really good time. To kind of like give you some sort of a timeline, that was in April. I started dating someone else in June, and the guy started talking to me again about like in July, but it was the summer holiday, so we didn't get to see each other very much. Well, we didn't get to see each other at all, I think. And I was still with the guy I was dating, but that was a long distance thing. I went on holidays with him. He went and visited me at my parents. It was great. We had a really good time. And then school started again, so high school. And we were going to the same high school, and he started talking to me again and stuff, and then flirting with me again. And I don't know, I had wanted that kind of attention for so long, because I spent a year being like pulled on and off by that guy, and then a month without him talking to me, and I was heartbroken, even though, I mean, I had forgotten about the party, and I mean, I didn't, but you know, I had buried those memories deep inside. And he started literally coming back to me and flirting again, and I just couldn't resist. So I ended up breaking up with the guy I was with. With him I was really happy to go back to chasing that dream, a ghost, or I don't know. Honestly, when I took that decision, I hated myself, because I knew it was not the right thing to do, and I knew it was bad for me, but I just couldn't resist. And you know what, it's terrible, because I still have nightmares about being in the situation I am now, with my life that I love and stuff, but somehow bump into that guy, not being able to resist him, even though I don't want him in my life. And I mean, this has never happened, but I have those nightmares all the fucking time. It's terrifying. So we got back together-ish, but then he learned about the guy I was with before, and he went, I don't even know how to say it. It just, I don't know, he was really not happy with that. And I was like, well, but we weren't together. He was like, I don't care. How dare you? How could you do that? And I was like, well, we weren't together. I had to move on. And I was like, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't remember exactly, but I remember this is when the physical violence started. I had this terrible, terrible urge to make things right, even though I didn't do anything wrong. But I just wanted this guy, who was the only person who believed in me to begin with. I mean, from what I knew, from my 16 years old perspective, to believe in me again, and pay attention to me again, and love me again, and see me as a good person, and someone who's deserving of attention and time and love again. And obviously he knew that, And obviously he was taking advantage of it so much. We still see each other, but it's always weird, and it gets violent sometimes, but you know, it's nothing too bad yet, but it's just going worse and worse. Then I get a job for the first time of my life, like an after school thing, after school and weekend thing, and start earning a bit of money, and obviously it all goes towards his expenses. I mean, they say they're the band's expenses, but they're really like, there's no band anymore at that point. It's just the two of us, because everyone else has left, because everyone realized how unhealthy that shit was. And I was feeling so proud and loyal for being the one who sticks with him. But I was just stupid. I was just like a stupid girl. So obviously he was on my money, and he was living like a few kilometers away from where I lived, like 6 kilometers or something, and he was telling me to come and see him after work. So I was walking in those countryside roads, dangerous countryside roads, to his place to go and see him, because I needed to do absolutely all the things I had to do for him to basically, I don't know, basically forgive me for whatever. But yeah, it went to a point I was going there almost every night, and I knew, I mean, if I was able to be back home before 2 a.m, I was lucky. And I was getting beaten the shit out. Like, he was beating the shit out of me almost every time. And I mean, I can't recall all of them, but I remember, I don't know what I did that day or anything, but I remember it was snowing, and basically we had the spot we were going to, like, that was near his house, and I remember meeting him. And I remember meeting him at the end of the hallway, of the hallway, and of the alleyway, whatever, driveway, fuck's sake, at the end of the driveway. And we usually from there walked towards where we were going. But that day he just pushed me and I fell, and he grabbed me by the hair and literally pulled me to the spot. And obviously the abuse didn't stop at physical hitting and that kind of stuff, because once it was done with that, he needed to be calmed down and cool off or anything, and that the only thing that would calm him and stuff was having sex. So it was night, it was cold, and I was bruised and bleeding sometimes, and also used for sex purposes at the same time. It was great. It was literally anything. Like, I would say a thing that didn't sound quite as he wanted, or I would not be able to do a thing, or I don't know. I don't fucking know, but I honestly don't remember what I did. But it doesn't even matter, because whatever I was doing, I know there was going to be this storm of violence thrown at me at some point. And yeah, he almost strangled me to death twice. It happened once. He literally pushed me, on the floor and grabbed my scarf and started to pull. He did that once, but like not really long. And I don't know, he did that a second time as well, another night. Like, he really almost killed me that night. Like, I couldn't breathe. I was... Yeah, after that, I remembered to never wear a scarf again when I went there. He was threatening the people I loved, my family, my sisters, mostly. The few friends I had left. I was so isolated and so alone. I remember one night it just got really, really bad, and my lip was open and both my eyes were enormous. My face had double size. My nose was broken, and he took his phone out of his pocket and he took a picture of my face and he showed me, and he told me, "Whoa, I'm proud of myself." I mean, in French, obviously, but yeah. I don't really know how it got that bad, to be fair, but I also don't know how it got better-ish. It's just like this treatment lasted for, I don't know, a few months, maybe 3. It was like really like a daily thing. Every night I was there, and I couldn't plan anything because, you know, I had to go there and, well, happen whatever could happen and hope I will come back alive. I remember one day he hit my leg so bad that I could barely walk back home. He also used like pieces of wood because we were in the woods, in the countryside, which wasn't exactly a wood, but yeah, there were trees. So yeah, a belt once. But after a few months, it just stopped, kinda. Like, I don't know what happened, but it was less and less often until I was able to count 1 month without him hitting me. And that was my last year of high school in France. And after your last year of high school, you're supposed to go to college. And I mean, I initially had plans to do so, but that would have mean moving out. And that would have been like moving out of the city I was in. And I really, really wanted to, but I was too afraid. And I was not really afraid of moving because I really wanted to at that point. I just wanted to escape, I guess. But I was afraid of him knowing and telling him, and I just couldn't imagine doing it. It just seemed too unreal, too impossible. So I got in a fight with my parents because obviously my parents, they were seeing what was happening, and I completely refused to talk about it. They went to the police and everything, but the thing is, as I didn't want to talk, there was nothing they could do. And obviously, every time they were trying to take actions or go to the police, things just got worse for me. Because if that guy was having problems, it was my fault. So my parents and I, we were in a complete dead end, and they reached a point where they couldn't deal with that anymore, which, I mean, I understand. They got me a flat. I still had my job, and they were like, okay, you know, if you don't want to study and you don't want to get out, we are not going to provide for you. So here's your flat. You have a job. You do you. And I mean, I don't blame them for that, because I was getting so destroyed, and I wouldn't let them help. Obviously, I told him I had a flat, and he started coming over and just basically staying and staying and staying and never, ever leaving. He still got violent at that point in that flat. I don't know how, I don't know why, but shit was still happening. I was still underage. I was 17 at that point. I couldn't even sleep. Like, he wouldn't allow me to sleep. If he wasn't sleeping, I was not allowed to go sleep if he wasn't sleeping. So fucked up. I got kicked out of that flat pretty quickly because the neighbours were complaining about the noise. I mean, obviously when you're throwing someone all around the flat, it is going to be noisy. And then I found another flat pretty quickly as well, and he also moved in with me in that flat. And you have to know, this guy is 4 years older than me and doesn't have a job, doesn't do anything, so I'm the one with the job and I'm the one providing. And this is the end of the year 2012, and I'm getting really fed up with this situation. I can't deal with that anymore. And at the beginning of 2013, I almost leave, but he stops me, and not with fear or violence, because I don't care at that point. I don't care. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm taking my things and I'm leaving that flat, and I don't care that I'm the one paying for it. I don't care that I'm the only name on the contract. I'm fucking leaving. And I go to the hospital and I go get therapy, because I can't live like this. But he stops me and he's like, we need to talk. He basically promised me to have a real relationship and to be better and all that kind of stuff. And you know what was funny is that he actually did that. I'm pretty sure now that it was not because of guilt or anything, it was just because he needed me. Like, financially, he needed me, which is usually the opposite, but financially he was the one needing me. I was providing him with his place to stay and providing for all his needs, basically. And so it started getting nicer and nicer. And the thing is, he still had like kind of outbursts of anger, but never actually hit me again after that. And the thing is, because the situation was better, I was more and more convinced that I didn't want that for my life, that I wanted more, and I didn't want that person in my life. So I tried to leave so many times, but he just guilt-tripped me into staying. He's like, yeah, I gave up so much for you, I did all of that, and I've changed and I've made efforts and everything, and now you're just gonna throw me away. And I'm like, there was a whole year of me wanting to leave and not wanting to be doing that anymore, but I just couldn't bring myself to it. What saved me at that point is like, I've started talking to my best friend again. And the thing about my best friend is like, she lived in a different town, and I got to see her like once every year or 2 years, really, at that time in my life. So he couldn't keep me away from her, because he couldn't reach her. And the fact that I started talking with her and telling her what I had been going through and all that kind of stuff, and how scared I was and all that kind of stuff, really helped me actually figuring out that I needed to get out of it, and that there was more to life than just this. But yeah, it took me a year to actually be able to tell him to fuck off and go on and live my life. What's funny is I shared the same birthday than my mother, so from the moment, sorry, it's not going to be logical, but from the moment I moved from my parents' house to my own flat, from that point on, I didn't talk to my parents for a year and a half. Because obviously this guy was putting me up against my parents because everything was their fault. Everything was their fault. If I was going through shit and if he was giving me hell, it was my parents' fault, and also my fault, obviously, but mostly my parents' fault. My mother and I were born on the same day. So in 2013, in autumn, my mother showed up at my work and we started actually reconnecting and talking again. And my sister showed up at work, and it was like, I had not seen them in about a year, and I was like, oh my god. And I started reconnecting with my family. So for my birthday, my mother offered, like, do you want to go somewhere together? Like, I'm inviting my friend. If you want to invite your best friend, you can. And we all go. So we all went skiing together, like, a few days before our birthday. So we went there for 3 days, and I got to see my best friend. And this is when I realized, I can't go on like this. It's not possible. And when I came back on my birthday, like the day of my birthday, and I got into a fight with the guy this evening, and I literally told him, look, now it's over, you're fucking ruining my life, and I'm done with that. He didn't get violent, but he called his parents. And the thing is, his parents never liked me, but the parents were like, well, actually, she's kind of right. You're not doing anything. It was still not working. You're not doing anything. And I get why she's done with you. It's like, okay, cool. So from that point on, we were not together anymore. We still lived together for 6 months because what I told him is like, okay, I know you don't have anything, you don't have a job, you don't have a place to go, because he couldn't go back to his parents. I mean, spoiler alert, this is what he did by the end of this whole story, but so yeah, he couldn't do anything apparently. So I told him, okay, you know what, we're in January. On the 1st of August, I'm giving this flat back. I'm leaving this flat and I'm giving it back, and I don't care how you do it. You have 6 months. You sort yourself out. And he didn't sort anything out, but he was out by the date I gave him. So I've been lucky because after I saw him for the last time, he never contacted me again. Which, I mean, is a good thing. As opposed to a lot of abusers just keep on going to their victims after. But he never did, because the thing is, the moment I actually said, it's done, it's over, I don't want that anymore, he knew that it was, I meant it, like I meant it for real, and he had no control over me anymore. And that was also the moment I started to have friends again and have a family again and be surrounded again. And that's literally what saved me from diving back into that black hole. Anyway, I left the flat that summer, moved to England, went to England for 3 weeks, and then moved to Paris and started studying. And from that point on, I've just started healing and kind of, I don't know. So that is my story of abuse. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to share my story because I'm 25 today. I'm mostly over it. I can talk about it, although I talk about it from a distance, meaning that I talk about it as something, I mean, when I talk about it, I don't feel it as something that happened to me. It's like I'm talking about something that I read in a book or something. I don't know, but yeah. But I think it's important to talk about it, and I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that with you because if we had a global pandemic and a coronavirus when I was in that situation, when I was living with that guy, I don't know what what would have become of me, and I don't know if I would be here to tell the tale. So my thought, I mean, domestic violence is a huge thing, abuse is a huge thing, and like, it can happen to anyone. It happened to me, and I'm quite a strong-headed person originally, and I take no shit, but apparently I did, so yeah. It can happen to really anyone, and I know that if you're in that situation at the moment and you're stuck with your abuser, I mean, you need to talk to someone. I know it's hard, and I've been there, and I've been scared as fuck, because he was going through my phone and everything, and I was just so scared to talk to anyone. But I can't give you advices on how to deal with that, because it's deeply personal. It's deeply personal, the way you handle that situation and stuff. But I can tell you, that you need to get out, and probably you know that. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to help, but my thoughts go to all the people who are victim of abuse and stuck with their abusers right now. And that if you can, if it's safe for you, please try and reach out. And I hope things will get better. I'm pretty sure there are people who can, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm bad at addressing that, but if I can give one advice to the people who are in terrible relationship and that kind of stuff, like, if you're afraid, basically, you shouldn't be afraid of the people you love. And if you're starting to feel fear, it's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag, and please don't fall for it. Please listen to yourself, listen to your guts. You deserve better, you deserve to be treated right, and don't let what happened to me happen to yourself. It's really hard to give advices on that, because I know when I was in that situation, I wouldn't take advice from anyone, and I would. And the thing that really helped me was finding someone I trusted and loved enough to talk about it. And someone I knew was not gonna just tell me, look, wake up, just leave. Because it's not that simple. And if someone comes to you and talk to you about being in an abusive relationship, please don't do the wake up call kind of things, because it doesn't work. Be there for your friend, support your friends, tell them that you're here if you need anything, but you can't tell them to sleep, because it's not that simple, and it's just going to make them feel even less understood than they already feel. I wanted to share that story to all the people who have been victim of abuse or are victim of abuse. You are not alone. Sadly, I mean, you are not alone. This is not sad, but this is sad that you are not alone, because that means a lot of people have been victim of abuse or are victim of abuse, and that's terrible and sad. And yeah, try as much as possible not to isolate yourself. Try and talk to people who love you. Anyway, that was my bit of story about abuse and my message. It's weird to say all of that to the camera. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I've been recording for a while now, so fun times. As I was saying, I'm mostly over it, but I still have nightmares. I still have flashbacks and dissociations, and I still freak out when people move their hand too fast towards my face, because I am traumatized, and I probably will always be. During this whole thing, I was 15, starting when I was 15, ended when I was 19. So I've grown through that, and yeah, this is part of my story. And you know how they say, like, what you've been through shapes you, shapes who you are today. I don't like that saying, because I would rather not have been shaped like I am today if that meant I could have avoided that, because I mean, it's probably not worth it. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I want to give clever and intelligent insights and advice, but I just realised I can't, because I don't know how to deal with that. I don't know how to help you deal with that. Just, the only thing I can tell you is basically, try and talk to someone if you can, because the more alone you are, the more alone and isolated you are, the more dangerous it becomes. And I made it out alive. I may as well. I'm lucky. I could have died during those 4 years. I have been really close to it, and unfortunately not everyone makes it out alive. I really don't know how to finish this video, so I'm just gonna cut it, probably. But yeah, please, to anyone, take really good care of yourself. Be there for yourself, be kind with yourself, be there for your friends. Reach out to people. Love one another, and I'll try and come and talk later. I'll probably have another story time, or I don't know, I may talk about other stuff, completely different stuff, because I can't talk about really depressing, traumatizing stuff all the time, can I? But yeah, I guess I'll see you all next time, and thank you so much for watching this really, really long video about some really, really terrible and depressing topic, really. But be strong, hang in there, and I love you so, so much. Is that the cat? Oh, hi, cat. Come see me. Baby. Come here. Say hello to the camera. Say hello to the camera. Come on, don't be a snob. Baby cat, come here. Come here. Look. Look. This is my baby cat. And he's so cute. And I love him so, so much. Mwah. Baby cat. Oh, go away. I love you. Ugh, you're walking on my microphone.